Salut tout le monde! Welcome back to our French language channel. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss one of our lessons. Today we're talking about an essential part of fluent conversations in French, elision. So, let's begin. So, what exactly is elision and what makes it so important? Well, in French, elision is when we drop the final vowel sound in a word when the next one begins with a vowel or a silent H. It helps French conversation flow smoothly, making it sound more natural and less choppy. And you might not even realize that you're doing it when you're speaking, but it's super important for good pronunciation and for sounding natural, sounding like you are part of the French speaking community. So, let's see some examples of elision. The first examples that we're going to see are the usage of le and words that start with a vowel or with an H. H mute. Le ami, for example, doesn't sound good. Le ami, it sounds dragged. It sounds a little bit sloppy and a little bit choppy here. So we use elision because we have the rule in the back of our minds, of course, when ch- um, le is followed by a word that starts with a vowel sound or an H mute. Here we turn it into le with an apostrophe. So le ami will become l'ami. Both mean the friend. Le homme will become l'homme, which means the man. Another case where we encounter elision is when we use the subject pronoun je. Je will become je with an apostrophe before a vowel or a silent H. Let's see some examples. Je ai, again, it sounds a little bit off, so we use elision and we obtain j'ai, okay, which sounds more natural. Je habite will become j'habite. J'habite. Notice how in pronunciation we pronounce basically the entire word because of the introduction of the apostrophe. This is the role of elision. You see how it becomes your speech becomes more natural, your speech becomes more fluent and more fluid, right? Let's see more examples. We're not over yet. Let's analyze the case of prepositions and conjunctions. In the case of prepositions, we have de, which becomes subject of elision. De will become de when followed by a word starting with a vowel or an H mute or silent. For example, de ami will become d'ami. So here we would have of friend, right? Or of a friend of a friend would be d'un ami, right? Of the friend, de l'ami. And here is the trick. Here is how you see the fact that if you say de ami or um, de édifice, okay, de édifice of buildings, right? De édifice. This makes it's an example that makes more sense. De édifice, it's it sounds dragged. It sounds like a lot of syllables are being pronounced, and it doesn't sound natural. It doesn't sound like how you would hear it. And my advice for you, whenever you're trying to practice elision, is to firstly uh, read out loud the initial words, then read out loud the final word with elided, right, with the elision applied, and also, if possible, to write them while we speak them, because when you do this, you also make a mental note of on how you use the elision in that particular case and all the rules behind it. So it's good if you need to do this. You can pause the video whenever you like, and you can just take a little bit of a note and say, okay, de becomes de when we follow with a word starting with a vowel or age mute. Que, which is a conjunction, will become Q before a word starting with a vowel or a silent H. Que ami will become kami. All right? So let's also see, we have one or two more cases to analyze. Negations. Why not? Ne will become ne before a word starting with a vowel or silent H. Ne ami is just a friend. Sorry, no ami is just an example. Nami, not a friend. But also, you can just apply it when you're conjugating verbs. Verbs that may begin with a vowel. Acheter, for example. If you want to make a sentence, you're going to apply ne and pas, especially in the present simple tense. You're going to have je ne achète pas, but here ne achète is subject to elision because acheter or achète starts with a vowel. So in this scenario, you're going to obtain je n'achète pas. All right, so that is going to be how you apply elision in the case of negations. You can negate obviously a concept, you can negate an action. So from now on, you have no reason not to use elision in that scenario. Lastly, there are also exceptions to elision. Luckily, there are not many, there are only two. While le, the definite article le, becomes le in the normal case of an elision, la will stay la. So you'll have la ami, the friend, okay, or um, any noun, okay, that will start with a vowel and is feminine will stay like that, la ami, okay. C also does not elide before il or ils. Well, both are pronounced il, so don't get it twisted. I've just pronounced the S for you to understand that I'm referring to the personal pronouns il singular, il plural. For example, si il pleut, nous resterons à la maison. If it rains, we will stay at home. Okay, so keep in mind that there are these two exceptions when you're using elision, and also pay attention to the fact that I've said si il pleut, but you also know an expression which uses se apostrophe il. S'il te plaît, for example. That is an idiomatic expression. So do not make the confusion that I've seen people do, that there you use C. So you might come with a question and say, well, why do we use C there then? Well, it's not C that you're using, firstly. Okay, it's just an expression, an idiomatic expression, all right, and you have to take it as it is. However, when you don't have idiomatic expressions and you're just using C as an if, right, an if statement, a C conditionnel statement, then you apply this exemption to the case of elision, if of course it applies, if you have a word that starts with a vowel or an H mute after it. Now it's time that you practice, and also I will be checking the comments. All right, I want you, every one of you, to answer there because that's how you learn. I will go there and read all of the comments, and I will provide you with feedback from which you will learn. So, can you guess the correct elided forms of these sentences? Put your answers in the comments. Je aime bien ce livre. Le homme parle très fort. I can't wait to see your answers. Also, don't forget to check out the description because you have information about my courses, about my pre-recorded tutorials, both accessible. Don't forget that they are paid, so you'll have information about that in the description box as well. 10 euro for a 1 hour session, 1 month session with me, or €5 per pre-recorded tutorial. And of course, for those that cannot afford, I also have a more affordable option of joining our community of French practicers. And we have limited spots, so join as fast as you can. For now, bye bye.